Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Sash Style episode 9. Thank you so much for following us. If you haven't started following us, just go to YouTube and click subscribe to Sash Style. Leo hii I have beautiful guests and I don't know how to introduce them, so I don't know. I start with the left or the right. Ladies first.
Men before.
So we go.
Okay, men before.
Mm-hmm.
Before what? Anyway, my name is Jeremy Leki, the director, Talentpreneur Kenya, and of course I've been in the industry for 15 years, both the pageantry and fashion, and have managed to mentor quite a number of people, I believe. Yes, that is a brief of me.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Madam,
Yes.
let Kenyans know who you are.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Kavata Masi Grace. I am a media personality, TV, radio host, and I'm also a commercial model now. I've been in the industry for 7 years now.
Wow.
Such a long time.
Time flies. It's
Yeah,
not
really juicy
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy,
Yes, sir.
when I first met you, you're doing in advertising or something.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us about that. I don't think you do it anymore. Did it lose the interest or what happened?
You could even remember that. Yes. We met when I was doing advertising, and of course that was one of the most lucrative sector that at that time that we were in, and we were in for various reasons. Of course, the first reason was to make the money, but of course there is now the passion part of it that we got involved because of the talent mentorship, and as a way we use that particular moment in the advertising to sharpen various talents that were within our databases back then. And to the question that you've asked, am I still there? Yes, I'm still there, but now not as an agent doing advertising, but now I'm the one who's now looking for agents to do the advertising. So I've just flipped and changed the role.
Wow.
Yes.
In this life, you cannot just be at one place. You must keep evolving and improving and stuff like that. And thank you so much for moving and letting others do what you're doing before. Kavata, you spoke about now, apart from pageantry, you've gone into modeling. How is it there?
Well, it's quite challenging, but it's quite fun now because when I started as a pageant model. That is back in 2017. And I partially feel like that actually created opportunities for me because I ran for Miss Multimedia first. Something that people don't know is that I went 2 times. The first time was in 2017, but I didn't get it. Went back in 2018 now with a vision and a purpose, and I actually won. Then the next pageant was Miss University Africa, which actually paved ways for me to get into the commercial world now.
Great. Good. So you must start from somewhere.
Yeah.
Even at birth, 2 people must come together for you to be who you are. Jer,
Yes, sir.
you talked about pageantry. Of late, I think last 2-3 years, you've been in a very unique pageant. I think in the past 2-3, we've been talking to the mainstream pageant. That's Miss World, Miss Universe have been here. So tell us about your pageant.
First and foremost, just to inform Mercy, you Miss Multimedia 2017?
2018, 2019.
I organized it in 2012, 2013, 2014, same university.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I know multimedia, very versatile models come out of that institution. And sitting with you here, I would say it's part of an honor that I would really like to congratulate you on for being in that particular campus. Though I'm not their advocate, but it's good sometimes. Yes. So yes, Licky, back to what you're saying. There's the miss and the misses. The pageant, when I began, I was dealing with, of course, and let me use this for illustration purposes. I was dealing with the young tuck back then in terms of those who are not married or they don't have kids. After doing it for quite a number of years, of course, just like you mentioned earlier on, I felt like passing the baton to the next person to deal with them, because I felt at that time my life had evolved to another phase. So then I started dealing with now whom we call mothers or wives. And this particular group of people also provided me with a diversified way of looking at pageantry. And I would say pageantry is a door opener, especially to those models who are not able to do high fashion, those who probably are not able to go to compete within the commercial models, that is the print models. And it gives them a platform to express themselves in various ways through, of course, the competition. So the one that I have been involved, and of course now I've again evolved to another one, which maybe I'll disclose another day, and you could be wondering which one could that be. But after handling the Miss Universe, I thought it's now the right time for me to move to another thing, where I said I'm in the corporate affairs, and my corporate affair activities involving supporting talents. How do I link the corporate with the talents? How do I train a talent to know how to present themselves to a corporate? Because it is through this corporate that they get various jobs that they seek through their talent, skills, and gifts that they have. So that is the next level that I am. But my experience between the two, I would say that both of them come with different challenges. When you're dealing with the young ones, there's a challenge that you as an agent or a choreographer has to act like a father or a mother to them, because you have to provide them a way, you have to guide them, you have to show them what they're doing. So after doing that for a long time, I met this other category, and I realized there are also mothers who could have wanted to be models way back before giving birth, but motherhood and wifehood came in, but still there's that passion. And Licky, I'm very sure you've dealt with mothers who bring their kids to you and telling you that I want my kid to be a model. As a professional agent, as a professional person who handles models, there are things that sometimes we don't tell the parents. It's like a prophet who sees something that they don't want to tell you, that, you know, there's such a thing within your life, I'm running your life. You'd see there's a kid who probably cannot be in fashion or print. But the mother, because in their inner person, they wanted, as a younger person, they wanted to be a print model or a fashion model. They push that kid within that space, so that that kid can live their life that they never lived. So the other cadre of pageantry, I felt, provided them with a space to experience this particular pageantry, which of course, you look at the criteria, it does not take the height factor or the body size factor, like you have to be this size, hips 36 or something like that. It doesn't take those factors. It takes the factor that you are, as a mother, interested to pursue a course.
Right there, just hold it. I'll get back to you. You spoke about something very important about multimedia. I've been in this space of Mr. and Miss University since, I think, 98. I got into university pageant before the Miss World pageant. And I think in 2018, Miss, what's it called? Miss Multimedia was Miss University. Then 2021, she was Miss University Kenya. Kavata, what do you guys do that these other universities are not doing? Because in the past, during our time in campus, the thing that used to happen was either it was USAU, JQuat, or KU. But then all of a sudden, ball changed, and now it's at your school, at your former school. Jeremy was there as a trainer. He just mentioned, so probably because you are inside, just to help also these other campuses. What exactly are you guys doing different? Because I've learned, like, for example, in the past 2-3 years, cooperative university has come very strong. And they're your neighbor. I don't know whether they've stolen the ideas from you, but I would love any idea that I have to get it out there to help those people who are trying to do whatever they're doing. Yes.
So, well, I think when it comes to multimedia models, we get like our training is quite deep, because we just don't go through the walk alone. We actually have bits where we're doing the sessions for Q&A. So it happens, I feel like our training is way advanced, and it takes a little bit longer than other universities, because you find other universities, their cultural week is just basically 1 week. So they start their cultural week probably on Monday, their training starts on Monday and ends probably on Thursday, and the event is on Friday or Saturday. But for us, we start getting prepared like way earlier. So I think that is one of the factors that actually makes us like stand out.
Yeah, I think one of the things people have assumed about pageantry, they confuse pageantry and modeling, and they forget about that leadership part, where I think in 1 week I can become a queen or a king. There's that inner beauty, like you mentioned about you train on question and answers, you train on personality, you train on charity, because pageantry is about humanity. So I think one of the things that maybe your school has learned is it's not more about the catwalk, it's more than the catwalk. And I think those guys were watching and probably organizing the pageant, because there are a lot of people organizing pageant out here without an idea or know-how. They think the catwalk, so if you want to just do catwalk, then go to do high fashion and stuff. But if you're doing pageantry, you must instill what pageantry is all about. And if we don't do that as Kenyans, we're going to find our models going to get very low standards in terms of international competition. So thank you so much, Kavata, for coming today and just helping us learn a few things that you learned in school that other schools are not doing. My brother.
Yes, sir.
There's something very important, and we need guys to learn. I'm telling guys, when Miss World is now 73 years old, 1951, Eric Morley and Julie Morley started the Miss World, and it was strictly 17 to 24. Miss Universe 19 to 29. Last year, Miss Universe decided there's no age, whether you're married or not, you can actually contest. The idea was for young people who haven't gotten families and guys who haven't gotten husbands, because pageantry takes a lot of your time. Madam Kavata will tell us it takes almost 90% of your time, because it's like leadership. Then that year you're a queen or a king, you must be able to tell the world, what did you deliver? So, and I keep telling these young people, some of them have like 10 crowns, 10 sashes, but there's nothing they're doing about it. So the idea was Eric Morley and Julie Morley didn't want the world to start criticizing them, because probably a mother has left a kid and they're concentrating on that big percent and forgetting the house. A lot of human beings, and it's a mental thing, that if your woman is on stage and walking, every man is looking and they admire, so things would actually change. This concept is moving out. Like I said, Miss Universe already adopted. You said you moved from the younger one, now you're moving to marriage. I don't know the challenges. There must be challenges where, I mean, before, for us, when we were starting Miss World, we had challenges, parents bringing their kids to catwalk. Now we're seeing kids of 3-4 years on the catwalk.
On the catwalk.
We could not get 18-year-olds because of that bad perception. You're dealing with married women, probably single mothers. What are the challenges? Is there interest, because you've done both, is there interest in terms of more ladies want to take part in this because they missed that opportunity during that time? But again, Kenyans or Africans still believe pageantry is not for the African people. So just try and educate us on that.
Thank you so much. I'll try to summarize as much as I can. I want to start on the point about multimedia and, of course, what these trainings are. Maybe, I don't know, she will explain and what transpired in 2017, 2018 training. But I remember when I got to multimedia, and back then the student leader was called Wiki, there was Diki, this guy who danced Ramogi TV, that Ramogi Radio TV thing, there was Maggie. So when they got me involved, from the training, we believed the training was not supposed to take a 1 week or a 2 week. Number two, at that point now, what I'm saying I'm doing now, we introduced the corporates in it. And the whole idea was, when we have a queen and a king, do we have someone who's fully rounded, fully equipped, who can represent the school even to champion a cause at the community level and even at the corporate level? And at the corporate level is where probably they were having the business acumen in them sharpened to present a project to a corporate to win funding. So that initiative kept on going over time, and I'm not sure if it's still being practiced, because again, when I went to Kemu, Meru, I tried installing that in them so that happened. And I would really urge the current choreographers and trainers who are within that space, please try not only to concentrate on the catwalk, because personally I say, even for the mothers that I train, I tell them the runway, for me it's 10%. I would take 3 weeks training you how to walk, but your confidence level is 0. So I'm working on your legs, but huku, brain haiko. And Liki, I'm very sure, without mentioning, you've ever seen a model who went to international competition and even had a brain freeze when was asked a question, the only single question that she needed to answer. But the lady, she walks very fine. That made all Kenyans will look like that word there. So what am I trying to say in short? When you in pageantry, take it as serious as just any other business you do, because it takes majority of your time. Training takes majority of your time. Competition consumes you. Look at the models after doing probably 12 runs with different categories. They are always tired, meaning this thing consumes your time. So why would you just get into something for the sake of getting into it if you're not serious? And that tells me to what, remember when we did at Michael Joseph Center, talantako ni bizna. As in, if you're going there, yes, making money is there definitely. And I'm sure 98.9% of people who get in pageantry, modeling, acting, all those, get there for the money. Those who do it for passion, kidogo sana. Now, the challenges training the young ones, and of course training the mothers. I would say for mothers, it's probably balancing the husband, the baby time, and the training time. But I've found majority of them knows how to balance. Example, they'll tell you, give me a schedule a week in advance, and she will fit into that schedule without complications. And when she's going to be late, she will communicate that in advance. That is one learning I picked compared to the young ones. And sorry to say, not demonizing them in any way. Like when I was saying the young guys, she or he will come late and walk in there majestically and like you do nothing to them. For me, that is indiscipline issue. There is nowhere you can go without discipline. Even for us who we do the metamorphosis, we doing an activity, then we move to the next phase. There is a discipline that you have to move along with. It's not easy. So with that in mind, I would ask all models or aspiring models, first of all, just get to know why you're getting into that particular pageantry or that fashion. Define your why to the key. Just get the clarity. Why am I there? Number 2, sharpen your skills. Study more. Do more research. Apart from what your choreographer instructor is giving you, what more can you go with? Number 3, it is an investment. Whether you're investing money to get your outfits or whether you're investing your time to be trained and learn and compete, it is an investment. Can you just take it serious? We begin from just take it serious. With those 3 points, I don't think you'll have so much frustrations as a beauty queen and as a model or as a talent.
Very good. You talked about take your time, take it serious.
Define your why.
You define your why.
Yes.
And Kawata said when she first went into pageantry, the first time she went through pageantry, she lost because Kawata. Because why?
Well, when I was first doing my pageantry, that is back in 2017, I honestly didn't have a purpose. I was just going because my friends were like, oh, you look like a model, just go do it, and that's it. That's how I found myself there.
Yeah, we know that.
So, yeah, getting into it, like, I found out that to be a queen comes with a lot of grace, it comes with a lot of responsibilities, and it comes with a lot of discipline, as you said earlier on. It's not all about the crown and the sash. That's when I realized, actually, I'm in here now. I have the purpose. I have the passion. But why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I want to do service to the community. I want to have humility. Like, I want to build myself as well in the process of getting into pageantry. So the second time when I went back, now I had a passion. I had a vision. So that's why I think it was so easy for me to actually win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've said it very, very well. You must have a purpose. You must say, I want to go and win. Like Jeremy said, one of the most important thing is you're putting in money, time. Please try to get serious if you're going into pageantry and take it like any other career. Like you're in class and you're saying, this 45 minutes, I want to listen to the teacher and make it. I keep repeating this. I had a fight with my crew last week when I said one of the best footballers is Ronaldo, and they felt Messi is the one. But I think Ronaldo is more disciplined in terms of training and stuff like that, and that's why he comes out bigger and better than Messi. So in pageantry is the same. You come late, you don't go through, like Jeremy has said, during our time we didn't have the YouTubes, the Googles and stuff like that. You have all this with you, so you can't wait for the trainer to train you on some things, answering questions. Just Google who the best answered question in pageantry, and they're all there. So
and just to cut you short on that, because I might lose it, even on the question and answers.
Yeah.
And I remember we've been with you some platforms. I always tell the queens, when the judges are asking you a question, even they judges have no idea of the answer. And I tell them, you'd rather answer wrong confidently because, and maybe I stand being corrected. Personally, when I've sat on the judging platform, I don't look at the correctness of the answer. I look at the confidence, the presentation, how the person is putting out the answer. That is what I'm looking at, because I would want someone who's able to present themselves, and when in a boardroom somewhere representing a country and they're asked a question, they elude that confidence in answering it. So for me, it's not about the correctness of the answer.
Yeah, you're right, and I think I'll tackle that just after the break. About how to answer the questions. I've done it before in the previous episodes, but the answer is key, because usually what happens is you have 30, or like in Miss World 107, then they cut them to 20, and these 20 they end up with 10 that are asked questions, and of those 10, any of them can win that crown. It just depends on how you answer the question. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue with these questions. If you have questions, just put them down there and we'll be able to answer you. Thank you. We are back, and again, this is part 2. If you haven't gotten to subscribe, kindly subscribe and get more education and more learning and stuff like that. So we left it at question and answers. It's key. You cannot be a leader, and pageant is about leadership, if you cannot articulate issues. Sorry. You've seen, even during our elections nowadays, guys go for that presidential debate. And this, usually you find a lot of things come out. This guy is just a noisemaker, but he cannot articulate stuff. Now, as Jeremy said, there's no wrong or right answer in pageantry. That's definitely. But that's why we ask you, who's your role model? What would you do if you become a queen? And you go to a pageant where they're asking you, when did Kenya get independent? Then that's a mess. But you can still answer it. I don't know, but I can do some homework and just challenge the judges. Like Jeremy said, it's how you answer that question, the confidence. Sometimes you confuse the judges. How you just, because you have 90 seconds. How much do you have to explain? And I'm sometimes so disappointed at some models. They come there, they think they have it all. They take like 4 or 5 minutes to answer that question. In the second minute, if you're still answering a question, then you get confused. You're doing the wrong answer. So anybody who goes to pageantry, answer the question as shortest possible. Wacha story nyingi. Story nyingi unapeleka parliament. This we just want to know how well you get into leadership. Jeremy, thank you for jumping in and helping do that. Kavata, very well. You went for Miss Multimedia, didn't win, didn't give up, learned some tricks, went back and did very well and won, and came to Miss University and represented Kenya in Nigeria. How was it when you got the news you're going to represent Kenya and go to Nigeria? How was it there when you're meeting? And this, by the way, is the only pageant that takes the entire continent to the pageant. And did you make friends, sisters that you still communicate up to date?
Yeah, the news were quite interesting, but challenging as well, because this time I'm not only representing my university, but I'm representing all the universities in Kenya. So I'm standing there as Kenya. And my main goal there was, as I said earlier on, with pageantry, it's not all about the sash and the crown. It's all about humility, also creating sisterhood. Like today, if I wanted to go to probably Tanzania, I would just wake up, call my sister from Tanzania, I'm coming, she'll be able to host me. Like literally, I have a home in each African country. You see, so I think that is one thing that I'm grateful I actually bagged, because I made a lot of friends and the sisterhood. So, yeah.
I think one of the things that people don't understand, there's so much and just that friendship that you make. Sometimes you may not win a pageant, but you take advantage of it. You become a choreographer, maybe a designer after that and stuff like that. And you achieve more than that person who beat you in the nini, because you had a purpose for it. So just, Jeremy, you've trained a lot of people. Some of them have now become trainers and stuff, and you're proud when you said a lot of people that you mentored. Sometime we go into this as commercial. I'll do the pageant, maybe make 1-2 shillings and forget about pageantry. But you've been there for some time, not just pageantry, just that talent of modeling. Like I said, you started the commercial modeling.
Yes.
Is it true that if you don't win and decide to take this career seriously, you will make more than if you want to make money at that point in time?
Again, I say, as I said earlier on, or rather as I pointed out, it's about the clarity in your why. When you have the clarity in your why, you will not have an issue whether you win or you don't. Because you are very clear on your why you are getting involved in a pageantry. Yes, winning is the prestige that comes with it. But I've seen, and Licky, I'm sure you're very certain know, there are queens who've won and their first runners up or second runners up, or even someone who was not within the top 5, performed relatively well in other spheres of that particular activities they were doing. We've seen queens who've won and then it gets into their head and forget what they do. And that's why I mentioned earlier on, discipline. It's your clutch bag. You cannot leave it. Everywhere you go as a queen, as a king, you have to go with it. So yes, there are those models, and probably if time would have allowed, I would give examples by mentioning and probably refer people to look at what those particular people are doing. I've seen queens who never won but emerged the best in whatever they're doing. So if it's in pageantry, remember there's that duration of time you are competing, and you're competing both from the training level to the times you're making various outfits for your presentation, to the time you're preparing yourself for the question and answer, to everything about that particular modeling. At each and every stage that you're competing, you can come out as a choreographer if you're a quick learner, because even in normal life, a teacher was taught to become a teacher. So a choreographer also learn it from somewhere to become a choreographer. So you as a pageant queen, I'm a contestant, you can also become a choreographer. I've seen queens, and this specifically I would refer to KU. I've seen queens whom I trained and later on became household fashion designers. They did their outfits, and that time even probably in KU they were not studying fashion and design or art. They were doing probably economics and statistics and something, you know, those subjects. But later on they emerged as best household fashion designers. I've seen models who probably never won but now run reputable talent management agencies. And so it takes me back to what I said. What is your why? What were you going to look for there? Were you only driven by the passion? Was it just a mere interest? Or as my good sister had said earlier on, while you're walking in the campuses, few wannabe boyfriends told you you're beautiful and you can compete and become the queen of the school? Or, and let me say this with all the contradiction that it can come, or even those who are not in college, and I'll use a slang, mubaba fulani alikwambia you look good, I can finance you to go and be a pageant queen. What is that thing that drove you to that particular thing? It's key. Therefore, at Talentpreneur, what we believe in, it's walking you that journey. First of all, before you even say, yes, there's that interest you come in, I want to be a model, I want to be a fashion model, I want to be this. Clearly, if you can't write for me your why, then, and probably that's why I closed the agency. And I deal with few people because I believe that is the pedigree of everything.
That's true.
But I'm not cutting out every other person. I know there are other brothers of mine and sisters who are running agencies, who also they have their why within their agency, why they have everyone, or why they take part in every pageantry. Yes. So for me, everything goes around why.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things is in life, why do you want to get married at that point in time? Are you ready and prepared? Why do you want to get a baby? And sometimes people don't have that why. That's why they end up without fathers for their kids. The kids, either the marriage is not working because they didn't go for why. One of my guests last week, Morino Ititu, has done YouTube and talked about Sponsore, where the young girl thinks, I will not work hard and sleep at home and make money from being sent for M-Pesa. There's nothing sweet like making that 10 bob that you worked hard. You woke up at 6 in the morning to go and do hostessing or do activation and get home, where you know I can send mom 100 bob that I've sweated. It's so painful that you are sending. I mean, you've worked so hard from immoral stuff. So the pain that you are going through, your heart and stuff, you don't want to share it, but just try and do that dirty job and make that single coin. You'll be the happiest. And the why, it will take you to places. I know you do some hostessing job. Maybe in your early days you're doing activation. How was it? Did you enjoy the job? Sometimes, I mean, a client tells you you'll be done by midnight. You are there at 3 o'clock and still feeling, what? You were supposed to finish at midnight. And you find some models feel, I wasn't paid for this, but some enjoy, let's do it because they love it and they want to do it tomorrow. This will be your experience, and what would you advise the young people who are going into that hostessing, modeling kind of work?
Well, personally, I was really enjoying doing it because it was actually fun, because sometimes you get gigs where we go to places that I've never been before, so you see there's that bit of it. And also, as you said earlier, it's all about discipline and passion. So if you know why you're there for the right reasons, then definitely you're going to enjoy. So for anyone who really wants to get into the hostessing world, I think it basically needs a lot of patience and a lot of passion in it.
You've said it very well. I think Maureen Waititu last week said during our hostessing and activation time, that's the best time when he met some people that would not have dreamt of meeting. He met the late Chris, Bob Collymore and stuff like that. You meet the CEOs of who is who, and if you're smart enough, that's the place where now you look up with jobs and stuff like that. There's a time now, probably you go to golf club or private clubs and you're with this mbaba. The only thing they're looking at you at that point in time, huyu ni ule a wife on the road. But when you're doing the activation, they can see the passion. You have that time to talk to several people because you're at work. But when you're my mpango wa kando, it's very hard for you to start talking to other people because the men are very jealous. I'm the one who brought you to the club. Why there's that fight. So again, you must be very careful. Where do you want to take your career? I see a lot of now, they're called IG models. What is IG model? They have no morals, they have no character. You must go through that process of being initiated to a career. And that's why we started by saying there are a lot of things that people don't know. It's not just about the catwalk. It's about your morality, how well is your leadership skills and stuff like that. Some of us were not born with that leadership skill, but we got to learn it day after day. So, Mami, if you're going for the activation jobs, hostessing, then you must be very passionate about it, because again, you'll meet in sharing the same hungry. So probably you're doing a job, then somebody's telling you, boss, Mimi, how much are you being paid? 3,000. I give you 10,000, stop, come and sit here. Tomorrow this guy is not there, you want the next job. And because you messed me up at the job, I'll not call you for another job. So let's keep that discipline. You've worked with a lot of these young people, and they're ready. A generation of today wants it now and now. In this world, you cannot. You have to go to class 1 and class 8 during our time. The syllabus has changed, so I don't know. I'll give with my example. And do exams, but if you're not ready, you fail. That means you have to stay a bit longer to go to secondary school, and secondary to university to get a job. It's the same thing with any need.
First of all, I want to tell you something from my experience. In this world, there is no place for quick fix. And I stand with that and I say it with all confidence. Processes are very satisfactory at heart. Allow yourself to go through the process. The other day, a friend of mine was talking to me, and having a teenager in my house, it's also a plus at my age and looking at it. And a friend of mine was asking me, why would you not allow your daughter probably to go to the malls or to walk or to go to these places? Why would you keep controlling her? And of course I said, I have to provide leadership for her. But things that I will not allow her to do, example, I will not allow her to experience some things simply because I was there and I know. So if I can control that, yes. But then the person gave me a different perspective and said, like, hey, bro, like personally, and I speak about this and I'm never ashamed. One of the greatest things that made me lose a lot earlier was my involvement with taking alcohol. So the guy was telling me, hey, bro, he's someone who knows me. Hey, mazeju unakumbuka ile siku ulipoteza mita ya client juu kwa tumeenda kukata maji mahali fulani ukaacha gari bila kufunga. Kama hiyo haikufanyika, unafikiri ungeacha kukata maji? Nikamwambia hapana, it was God timing, and for a reason that happened. But do you think I will allow my daughter probably to also go through such a thing?
No way.
So in life we learn through how many? Either by example or through self. Like you have to pass through it. If you can help somebody not go through the pain, please do it. Do it. So even in pageantry and even in hostessing, and like how my sister has said, there is that example you've given there that there's this beautiful queen you brought in, she's a hostess in this high-end event, and then Baba comes in and tells her, like, you know what, I'm going to give you, at away 10,000, umesema ni kidogo, I'm going to give you 50,000, and you're paying the girl 3,000. I'm very sure majority will leave you with that job there. Licky, we've been there and we've seen some even just a mere booze make the model go.
You're right.
But can you imagine that model? And someone like Maureen Waititu, I'm not her advocate again. I like to use that word whenever somebody has not authorized me to use there. Maureen Waititu, I remember an instance I worked with her. And there's some people who are pushing that agenda of, you know, I'm a hostess, tunezenda after party. She stood her ground. And she said, you know what, just pay me my 3,000. Tweetia Uber, me I go home. If you guys want to go, can you do whatever you want to do? Nyinyi endeni. She stood her ground. That did not stop her from actually the same clan seeking her services as far as the professionalism is concerned. And actually, she even charged more. So that's why I said the process is necessary. The decision between 3,000 and 10,000 for the moment for the model comes in with the why and the discipline in you. Those two things. Oh. If you know why you are doing the hostessing. But I also encourage models, whenever there is that hostessing, be open-minded person. Know your limits, but know that platform is also a networking platform. Right? Mm-hmm. So if you've never probably studied on how to do networking, then maybe sasa utafungwa. And I hope you know the term utafungwa. But if you know how to network, what will be wrong by you telling the gentleman who asked you to come and sit down, and you know what, CPA alikuwa job mahali, and after job that's why I'll attend that occasion. Awache pia umalize, then mukutane after the occasion. And I'm sure no agent, if I meet my model, muna interact after job, I have nothing to ask you. But if I meet you at my job time, you've crossed your leg, taking mojito. As much as I can pour the mojito in you, but the temptation of pouring the mojito in you will come, because I'll be looking like, you know what? My client is looking at my models, the entire lot that you have, characterizing them with your character.
That's very true. And I think one of the things that I teach my model is never tell somebody no, because men take offended if they're told no. Interact, network. I remember I did a lot of work in my early age with galitos. So I'll just tell the girls, okay, talk to them, give them your number, tell them, kesho ukikuja, or sometimes you can be smart and say, just come to Galitos Parklands, my time is ABCD, but you'll never see that guy. So atakuja kutafuta, if he really wanted you, atakutafuta and comes. And that would be smart. So the next time you're meeting with them, like, hey, mami, uliniwasha kweli. But like Jeremy said, just make sure you don't get out there without contacts. For example, you're meeting, it's a job where you're meeting with probably the deputy president, and is there one-on-one. What do you want to tell them? And that's where we started the conversation. We train you on how to pitch. We train you on how to talk to these people. Because again, may his soul rest in peace, Chris Kirubi told me a lot of these young people feel I have money, so they'll want pleasure from me, or they'll do anything. I tell them jump 100 meters and they'll jump. But I respected those who would come and say, Chris, you're a millionaire. How can I learn to anybody who asked him that question, then we bring them to work, either at Capital Hako. The guy had a lot of companies. So again, people probably would think about what is your brain? Do I want this kind of girl to be with me? I meet some guys that say, hey, I met that girl of yours after work, and I think I want to give her a job at I'm still thinking of where to put her. And it happens every day. But that ule, tulitoka tu hivi na tukaenda. I don't even want to see her again. So be very careful. Don't be too fast, because either you're scared or you fear someone. Most of the time, it's even good to say no, but no nicely. There's some people who say no badly.
But Licky, can I ask you?
Yes.
That particular incident you're talking about, that conversation of networking at work when you are hostesses or when you're doing the hosting, is it only applicable to the female, or is it applicable to the men also? According to your experience. And Mercy, have you ever done a hosting job where the other male models are also there?
Yeah.
You've done that. So my question to Licky, is it only to the ladies or also to the men?
What has happened even today when you look at the modeling as a career, the male models still have not been given that equal share as the ladies. Like for example, Miss World, the last time Miss World was done, I think it was 2018 or 2019. That's why our Mr. World is still Mr. World, up to date. Now, but Miss World still continues every other year. Comes back to our client. You've dealt with clients. Number one, and I keep telling clients, you can't start telling us you only want yellow girls. Number two, you only want girls for the event. It's a golf tournament, for example. There are lady golfers. And I experienced this Kenya Open 2011, where I brought the ladies, and it was such a buzz. I remember them meeting with Kibaki, and very prominent. So the next year when I brought the girls, the women golfers said, if you don't bring boys, the girls are not coming in. So back to your question, anybody who is at work, and let's say, I'll give a good example because golfers, that's where now it's a serious corporate event, but also social, because it's after the golf tournament now, people are drinking, and now you have to mingle maybe to run a brand. So sometimes you find we have like 6 girls and 2 boys. So again, because of the numbers, you look at golf, the big number, majority are male players. So it doesn't hurt for boys, male models to interact with the client, because let's say, for example, you're selling JW, and JW is not like what is this milk kind of Amarula, where majority is a woman thing. I mean, whiskey, Johnny Walker is for everyone. So probably for me and what I've trained my models, it's easier for male model to attack ladies client. So in that point in time, you find maybe it's the same thing that like men. There's a lady who is interested in that male model. So what is going to happen is we either have 2-3 sales because of that gentleman. But then again, how do this gentleman handle this lady? In our society, they say a lady can go out with as old as their fathers, but it becomes a challenge when a young man goes out with an older lady. But what we're saying is, we're not encouraging people to go out, we're encouraging people to network. So your answer is, the way the ladies are going to network is the same way the boys are going to network. Sometimes probably you're saying, are they going to network with the male clients as a male? Some guys would prefer work with the male because they have male models. Not that they won't deliver, but they deliver. I'll probably say this male model is Machungumu. So he goes and says, hey, CEO Safaricom, I'm here because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And probably the way he presents himself, maybe in the first 30 seconds, because like, this is what I'm missing. Take my card. Can you come and see me at the office? So I think it's how you present yourself. And that's why, again, I insist, when you are going into pageantry or just modeling their careers, go do due diligence. Is it a known agency? Do they train you before you go for the event and stuff like that? Because sometimes I ask my client, if you cannot give my models training about your brand and they go to the field and they're confused there, it comes back to Pambazuka, your models work down. So again, one of the most important things is, apart from knowing the brand, is knowing how to handle people. So PR communication is key for everyone.
And also just a point to add on that. One of the things that I remember during that time, I was handling the hostess job or even the trainings. I would not take a brief 3 days to the event. I would not. One of the things that I understood, and probably I used it at multimedia in 2012, that product knowledge, that client brief, for me it's paramount. Because you asked me to bring 10 gentlemen and 20 girls. I don't know why the number of girls are always double, but anyway, that is a question for another day. But then you don't want to train them product knowledge. You're like, no, just tell them to go and stand there and do what? Listen, Mr. Sir, I don't know about your products. I know about my products, the models. I know them. And one of the things I know about them, they don't know your product. So that I know about them. So can we have that conversation and you train them and you let them know what they need to know about you? The general things, networking, how I've told them, hey, tembea hata na business card yako. I'm a model, tembea na business card yako. So when that gentleman, because I used to encourage them not to work with phones. At work, no. But I encourage them to have their business cards. Mm-hmm. You know, so when that man hits give the card. If that guy is serious, we'll look for you through that card. Even for the men. But hiyo mama card. Huyo mama akiwa serious atakutafuta.
Yeah.
Now, that product knowledge, it's key. Because if you don't get the brief, leaky. And for me, that's why, I said earlier on, I've moved to another level. How do we enhance corporate relation with the models, with the talent world? And Bwana Sears, I think we were at Bwana Sears office, Talanta. And you know about Talanta yako ni hela. Talanta yako ni bizna when it started, even before Bwana Sears came in. How do we bring back corporate to the modeling industry? And I think you and I, that question we kept on asking ourselves on our WhatsApp. Maybe your WhatsApp and mine is full. How do we bring back the corporate to this space?
Yeah, and I think,
and even in this conversation, even Mercy, for you, you've been there. How do we bring corporate to this space? Because without the corporate to inject something for these models to be able to sustain their life, this industry will go down. How?
It's a very good question. There are a lot of things that are now killing the industry. Number one, and I think I need to get a director, advertising director. There is this AI that is taking over the advertising of human. There is your question, which is key. During a time when I met you, there were very few agencies that gave brand activation and awareness. And there was a lot of work. Now, in the past 5-6 years, there are like hundreds of agencies. The girls go there and they don't know exactly what they're doing. Either they're drunk at the job place and stuff like that. So it's killed that. So I think with a lot of training and just making this area aware that we must have models to be able to sell brands. It will take time for them to say, okay, we'll use our employees and stuff like that. But there's something about models that now changes the narrative about your brand. I remember last year at Tena sites in Nakuru, we just went there, simple. My girls were there, not even doing it, just looking nice. and the attention was who are this and stuff like that. So brand sometimes it's not how much you sell them, is how much the brand penetrates the society. And I think what people need to do is now go back to class, go back to corporate, bring the corporate world and have this conversation. Nobody respects our industry, but we need now, we have a good CS who understands the youth. So we can now do some symposiums and seminars and get to this industry. It's $1 million industry if it's well managed. So I think that is something we need to keep discussing. Like you said, our WhatsApps are full, trying to crack the brain. What exactly can we do about it? But because of time, probably we can discuss it another day. I'd just like to engage Kavata. There are some things that the modeling career has opened for you. If probably you did not get into the modeling, or the guys you're in class with have not gotten the opportunity to have what you have, meet who you've met, you've traveled the country probably because of the modeling industry. What do you advise those parents who are not letting their kids who love, not pageantry, who loves modeling to get into modeling? Because I think you cannot compare modeling to football, athletics and stuff like that. It's a no. You can go to school of PR and get a degree, but there's somebody who's serious about modeling that gets her degree or his degree through that diligence of working with a known agency. Yeah,
that's a good question, because it has actually paved a way for me. So I think for the parents, right links are key, because like right now, my current job, I'm working for an NGO, and you know something interesting that happened. I actually didn't know this person is like no leaky or something. So I went for the interview. Yes, I've done communication, I've done PR, but again, like, what do you bring to the table? So it's just like, oh, I was actually Miss University Africa Kenya. That person mentioned Liki Odera. You've been through the hands of Liki Odera, so you already have the job because of Liki, you see? So I think the right links are so important. And I'm actually so grateful for the Miss University Africa Kenya organization, because without them, honestly, like, I think they actually take you through the emotional intelligence bit of it and how to express yourself as well. And that gives you a mileage away from your papers, because all of you there, the interviewers, all of you have gone to school. You have your own degrees, you have your own diplomas. But again, what makes you stand out from the rest? So right links is everything for me.
Great, you've answered it so well. There's something we call social capital. You don't need to have the capital, but the social capital. A friend of mine passed on 2 weeks ago. He was buried in Bondo last weekend. At the fundraising, they raised like 10 times what they wanted. His funeral, the government and the opposition were there. And this guy was, if you didn't hear his name before, they wouldn't have known this guy was important, because his name wasn't there. But kumbe, behind the scene, he was the greatest person. What will you take home when you leave the modeling and pageantry industry and say, this actually did? I was mentored by Kavata, and this is why I'm doing this and stuff like that. In anything you do, try and make that friendship. If things are wrong, try and create, make heads meet. Don't always try to fight. It's never a way to solve problems. So again, social capital, muhimu sana, keep friendship. I've seen a lot of models that after they lose or they think things didn't go wrong, watakutupia mkono, say, oh, Liki ni fake and stuff like that. Sometimes it's not even the mistake of the agent. Probably the client has decided, I'm not going to pay this. Some people will sit down with you and say, okay, boss, I've seen what has happened. We didn't do our job to the needs. Let's try another day. You find that person will keep being called. But the person who's thrown for you mkono, they'll even come screaming after they learn their mistake. So it's very hard to now get them back. So whatever you do, be humble and be able to work with people. Mr. Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
You train talent, you do a lot of business training.
Yes, sir.
What would you advise our models, not just model, artists, actors, or stuff. Because one of the things that is coming out when they become celebrity or they see themselves in the pulse and stuff like that, I think they've made it. Without the capital management, they end up losing the millions they made from advertising and stuff. They either go into depression, or we find stories where these guys know more because they got frustrated.
First and foremost, just to pick up on where you were speaking and what you had brought up, social capital is key. It's key, and that one, I think maybe youth should be taught about that. Because again, as you advance in age, the number of people who probably you used to know each other with and used to hang out with and all those kind of stuff reduces. As your life advances, as your age increases, so are the people you know. But it reduces to quality, not quantity. At my age, probably, and I like how Felix Code, for those who don't know who that is, let me just use that. Felix Code said, when you pick your phone and call 5 people and tell them, hey, Mercy, I'm in Hosi, I need 100G. Hey, Licky, I need 100G. How many of the 5 will respond? Not necessarily by giving you the money, even by just coming there to stand with you, to be with you. So social capital is key. It's not about even the modeling industry. It's generally. And I think from that is where we've had this question of mental conversation. We've heard of artists ending their lives. We've heard of models jumping from buildings. It's a bad scenario. But if you had a good social capital, and all of us, let me say this, all of us go through issues. All of us, nobody under the sun. In fact, the Bible says, when tribulation. And my English from the lakeside tells me the word when, it's a matter of time for it to happen. If you would have used if, it's a conversational, like itafanyika hama itafanyika. When that time comes, who is there with you? And social capital, the first base of social capital, it's your family. I hate seeing models who say, or talents who say, mimi niko sana mamangu, sitaki kuongea naye, and they walk out. My friend, social capital ya kwanza, it's your family. Your brother, your cousins. Even if the issues are bad in your home, just know that is your social capital. Because Licky, as my friend, if today I have an issue, and Licky also has an issue, uko Bondo kwao, will he leave Bondo to come to Ugunja to sort me out? Lastly, I would say, anyone who wants to get into creative economy, as I said earlier on, define your why. Have discipline. And when you are there, the third thing is, know the greatest currency that you can ever uphold is relationship currency. Relationship currency open doors for you anywhere you go. And you gave an example of when they let Kirubi. I also happen to have been advised by Kirubi at the Penthouse when we were doing the Palma model, and said, when she talks to them, and the models look like to be flattering. And that one who doesn't look like be flattering, and tell him I can be more, the brand of your products and all those kind of stuff. And we know many of them who are working in capital and who worked in Hako. That social capital, that relationship capital that you build when you meet people during the networking as a model will take you far. She's talked about when your name was mentioned in a room somewhere, and by the virtue of what you did, gave them. I know people who've used my name. Actually, Licky, today let me tell you something. Why do people mistake Licky and Lecky? Why? Probably at that I'll leave that as a hanging question. Ujibu. Sikule nitafanya kitu mbaya.
Utafutwa. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Jeremy is called Lecky, and we're in the same industry, so sometimes people confuse the two. which is a good thing. Maybe probably we do our diligent jobs proper. Before we close, I wish we had the whole day to speak. I'm having guests who are very soft spoken. Sometimes I get confused because I'm speaking to a communicator, I'm speaking to a teacher, trainer. So I'm confused of words. Just before we close, Kavata, I'll call you again to come. I just want you to give a word of advice to the young people. Yeah.
Okay, so my word of advice to the young people, like I said earlier on, I tried Miss MMU for the first time, failed, and went back. So whatever you really want to do, do not give up. Put your effort, know your why, as Jeremy said, and just do it. And everything else is going to open doors for you.
Well said, the communicator. Mwalimu, by the way, I'm called, when I get to Sharks, they call me Japonji. Japonji is Mwalimu in Luo. My grandfather was a pastor, and pastors at home are called teachers.
Japonji.
Yes, so like Jesus Christ was a teacher. Mwalimu,
Yes.
give a word of advice before we leave.
I won't really give a word of advice, but let me give a posthumous shout out to our brother who was gone. And as far as this is concerned, this month of February last year, Liki, we lost our brother Sammy Afro, who was very passionate about the modeling. And of course, his legacy still lives on. But as you said, I remember when we were at Sammy's funeral, and I'm picking up on that point. There's a woman who stood and said, like, others teach, no, for purpose of not looking discriminatory, let me hold on to that. You'll edit that.
Okay.
But I'll tell you behind the scene. Just to wind up, yes, we who are in the choreography, who are in the modeling teaching space, let's also look into our own characters, because parents entrust us with their kids, models entrust us with their character, with their personality, with everything about them. And if you don't know yourself very well, and you pick up someone and you mislead them as an agent, as a trainer, I think it will come back to bite you later. So personally, if you are a quack, please just leave the space.
Thank you so much. Well said, Mwalimu. You must go through a process to be able to deliver. Now, before we close this episode 9, very important, I want to thank the crew out there on the gallery with Marvin on the camera, Dick and Newton. Thank you so much for being part of this episode. And just before we leave, Kavata and Jeremy, you've done well. And I think it will go back to history that episode 9, there were 2 guests who took us through why. It's not just why in pageantry, fashion and modeling. It's just the entire you, that if you don't have a purpose, why? And I remember, I keep telling my friends, I don't want to be political, but somebody was saying, when you knew you had it all, then again, you must be prepared and why you want to do it. So just keep asking why you want to be Liki's girlfriend, or you want to be with Jeremy, or you want to be Kavata. Sometimes guys look up to other people. Like for example, tomorrow we're doing, on Thursday we're doing Face of Nakuru finals, and some have already had rumors Kavata is coming to judge, and they see us, they're like, hey, they call me Baba. We are so excited Kavata is coming. That's my role model. So of course, you might not know, but a lot of people celebrate you guys out there. And thank you so much for coming. Keep coming. Let's hold hands and build this industry. See you next week, same time, episode 10. And we're thinking of doing the final episode 13, with a crowd. So if you have questions you want to ask our guests, just put it down on our YouTube, Sash Fashion and Sash, on YouTube and Facebook. Asanteni. See you next week, same time. Adios.